It is said that the katana has a unique benefit due to its design, that striking or cutting while drawing from the sheath, that you can do it easier with a katana than compared to other swords, mostly because of its curve.
Yes, and this is more of a technique thing. Well, the thing is, we have a bunch of swords here, and this isn't actually true.
Yes. There is something that we will show very shortly which indicates that that is not the case, but then we're going to put it to the test. We are going to be doing, they're usually called draw cuts, but they can be confused when you actually just draw the blade along. So we call them sheath cuts.
I call them draw cuts still.
No, because that confuses me.
Yeah, but it's draw cuts. In today's episode, we're talking about draw cuts, and what that means is drawing a blade from a sheath.
From a sheath, yes.
Okay, now the first thing I wanted to bring up is that you said because it gets all these benefits. The thing is, though, there are other swords out there that are single-edged and have a curve, so why wouldn't they have the exact same benefit?
Well, there is a big thing that we discovered in our video comparing straight katanas and curved katanas.
Shad discovered.
It's a massive discovery, world-breaking.
For Shad.
Incredible. It blew my mind. And indeed, we will show you that some medieval swords actually get just as much benefit, in some cases even more, in drawing from the sheath to cut than a katana does.
Shadiversity.
So I think we should set one rule, and that is we can't move our hand, because like, for example, if you're doing a sheath cut, draw cut.
Ah, he said it!
I
told you we're doing sheath cuts.
Draw cuts, if you're doing draw cuts, your sword is going to be attached to your belt,
yes,
your obi, or whatever it is, right?
I have it through my frog,
yeah,
or carriage.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I don't have a belt on. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to hold the scabbard, say, or whatever, as close as possible here and not move it as much play as you would normally have. What I'm trying to say is we can't go like this.
Yeah, pull the sheath back with while you're drawing the blade.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, there is a pop culture kind of popular thing of just the sheath cut, going, whoa, and that it's special in some way when...
It is beautiful.
It looks cool.
And it is a good way to attack.
Only quickly when you're like, it is not the most optimal cut by any means. Two cuts with two hands are always going to be a bit more power, a bit more control than one-handed cuts. By virtue of a sheath cut, you have to draw it in one hand. Okay.
I'm not saying I would personally walk up to a duel where somebody has their blade
and be like,
presented and be like, I'm just going to be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would have it presented out forward.
Exactly. But and there's utility in training it if you get waylaid and you need to get this sucker out and into the fight as fast as possible. And there are a lot of interesting things you can do. See, after the cut, you can even draw and use this as some deflection thing. But pop culture has exaggerated this, that it can be an ultimate attack. And look, it's one of my favorite animes of all time, Rurouni Kenshin.
I think the best way to describe it is it's still a perfectly valid move.
It's a valid move, but not...
But
like,
it's not your go-to.
If you're in combat, you would never see your sword, get ready, and that's your stance in combat. And my favorite anime, Rurouni Kenshin, his ultimate attack is literally a sheath cut.
Yeah.
The Amakako no Ryu no Hirameki. That's actually his name. And it's because that's the only attack that can defeat the Ryukuzen, which is an attack that's so fast that he can hit an opponent from 9 directions nearly at once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
So how does having your blade sheathed, how's that faster than just having your blade presented at your target?
It's not. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
your favorite anime.
It's still it's a friggin' great anime.
Anyways.
But
today we're just going to be doing a bunch of cutting.
So there's that misconception to debunk out the gate that sheath cuts are, you would never pick it over really any cut that you would have ready, 2 hands, wrath or anything like that in combat.
Yeah.
It's useful if you're just got it, sheath and you need to do a cut suddenly. So now to the type of swords. Let's demonstrate. A sword will have more advantage or be able to do a sheath cut easier if on drawing you can angle it in kind of the motion or direction of the cut. And so when it's mostly drawn out, how much of an angle can you push this on?
I cannot.
So with a straight katana, barely any.
This is the
That's the
best
angle.
I get, and that's right at the tip.
And so with a curved katana, you have this. This isn't bad. This is not bad. And so that means when you're releasing it out of the sheath, you don't need to kind of be stretched further over. You can be in a more natural position that's kind of curved, ready to slice that out. What people don't realize is that the nature of many European swords enables that as well. More so than a straight-bladed katana.
Well, all right, there are particular blade typologies that lend themselves to this, but there are certain types of like long swords
Yes, there
that
are.
are just not that good for it.
Yes.
They just have very
More parallel edges.
tiny distal
Yeah.
taper, that sort of stuff. But then you come to these sorts of blades that have a rather aggressive, not only profile taper, but distal taper. And what happens is, obviously, the further you get away means the
More room the scabbard
angular,
has.
yeah.
Look at the angle that we're getting, and we're not even at the tip. We're already at a steeper angle than the katana before it leaves the sheath.
And this still has two edges as well.
Two edges.
Yeah.
And so this European type 18C longsword actually facilitates a draw cut because of the angle you can achieve at the end. Like compare, I've got this near the tip, right? Right? Can we see that?
Yeah, kinda.
This is very equivalent, and if you draw that even slightly more, look at what you get. Holy crap, right?
Yeah.
This European longsword facilitates easier sheath cutting than a standard katana does.
Just before we get into cutting, I will add the one caveat. I do think it is nicer with a single-edged curved sword. I think it feels nicer. But like we said right at the beginning, that's not my go-to
We will
anyway.
see.
But it is good to have a sword like this that has two edges, that also has, more reach than something like that, but also can still do the draw cut.
Yeah.
That's where the benefit to me is.
Well, now we're actually going to test this out. We're going to be doing draw cuts with a katana, with this longsword,
Single-edged first.
and also other swords, because you've seen Tyranth holding the shamshir. That has a more aggressive curve on it than a katana does. Could I have a look at that? This should technically do even more to facilitate. Look at the overall kind of curve I got from here in drawing this into a cut. And so I think the shamshir might be actually the most aggressive kind of angle from your grip to the angle of the scabbard in terms of making it faster on the draw.
All right, let's do it.
Starting with the katana, this is the Romance of Men
Green Goblin Katana.
Fukyo katana.
No, Green Goblin Katana.
They call it the Fukyo.
Yeah.
It's an interesting sound that makes.
Yeah.
Katana.
It's what it does to you.
Super sharp, good katana. We've reviewed it. Full review you can check out, and we have an affiliate link for it if you're interested. So, right there. I mean, it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's not bad at all.
All right, I have not done that with this sword. I'm interested, could be practice, could be weight distribution. That was more awkward, but it could be that this just isn't as comfortable in one hand as two.
Well, that one is also longer.
It is longer as well. So,
And it does have an aggressive blade profile taper, but I think the Bastard Sword and the Debunking have more of aggressive
More
ones. So
aggressive,
I think they'll
yeah.
feel a bit better.
let me go for like another one, just this will be a straight one. Smooth, that one felt smooth coming out. The cut itself was great.
Yep.
This is the Swordia Type 18C longsword. We have a full review of it, and if you've seen the review, you might notice I've removed the rain guard. Look how good that looks without that rain guard, dude.
Much better.
And so you can remove that rain guard and have, oh boy, gorgeous sword.
All right.
Oh.
My turn.
And we do an affiliate link for this sword as well.
Yes, if you want to buy one. If it's not sold out.
Yeah, we've sold like 40 of them, and it's only a couple of days after. It's a good sword.
Yeah.
I would buy one, absolutely. This is a very strange sword. I know it's a little abrupt, might be a bit off topic, but it is a strange sword. The thing is though, it is a tinker blade. Now, in case you don't know, the tinker longsword is one of the more affordable, well-known, standard, marketed longswords available. But are they everything that they've cracked up to be? Are they as durable as what you can find on the market today?
You good?
Yep. What the hell? What the friggin' hell?
Oh, I love when I'm right.
What the hell was that? Well, we're going to test that in the exclusive video for this week. We're going to be breaking this blade, putting it up against full abuse, and to see if it's comparable compared to what you can find these days. To get access to this exclusive video, all you need to do is sign up on Subscribestar, Patreon, or channel memberships. It starts as little as $1 a month. That's all it is. And guys, that is what makes us sustainable. Genuinely. So if you like the content and you want to get access to not only this video, heaps of weekly exclusive videos, just $1 a month. It helps out more than we can express. Thank you to everyone. And now let's get back to the video.
So the thing is, with a katana though, I would say there is a benefit, and it's not specific to a katana though, and that is the single-edged aspect of it does allow you to sheath the sword easier after the cut.
Yeah, sheathing is...
Like, I will give them that.
It's not a big thing though.
It's not, but it's much easier to do. With a double-edged sword, it is a little bit more awkward. That felt like a katana.
Yeah.
It was fine.
You're getting low.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that length.
It's the length. It's
The extra bit
does
of
make
length.
it more awkward to get out.
Yeah. So all you got to do is just adjust a little bit more. That's all that was. Just adjust for that little bit extra length and perfectly fine. I would say the speed was about the same.
Yeah, I couldn't notice anything in speed. Is it worth testing draw cuts with a longer katana? We got a great one to do it with.
Yeah, we can do that.
So this is the Sword Is custom katana we have reviewed, and look at the length difference of these.
This one is very comparable to a longsword.
Yeah, this is a longsword length katana.
Damn it.
By far.
It's bound to happen.
So, all right, I actually haven't done a draw. So this is a very sharp sword, and it cut gorgeously. It's one of our nicest katanas we own, actually.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite.
It is quite long though.
It is very long. So I just want to get the motion. Oh, that is more of a stretch. All right, so here. Oh. See, very comparable to the longsword, that cut. Like, I think this is a bit longer than the other one.
Than that one there, yeah.
Yeah.
It did look a little bit more awkward, but at the same time, that is still less than like a second.
Yeah.
So it's still effective.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, do you want to go?
Yes, I will. Yeah, that one was a bit more effort,
Yep.
but still possible.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing no difference in speed here.
Yeah.
All right, this one's going to be hard because it's not sharp.
Yes.
So this is more about speed and ease of draw. It's a shorter longsword. It's a bastard sword. Still a longsword. Well, every bastard sword is a longsword, but not every longsword is a bastard sword. So speed, ease of draw, because this certainly has that same effect. Look at the angle
But
we're
this
getting
one is
here.
more aggressive.
Look at that.
And it's shorter, slightly shorter.
Let's see how easy this is to do a draw cut.
Yeah. This is the one that I've tested my draw cuts with, and I found no difference.
That was smooth.
Yeah.
That was, and I was happy with that cut, dude. That was a nice looking cut. I want to do one more with this. This is interesting. That's an easy draw. That is an easy draw. I'm taking that as a win.
It came out perfectly fine, let me put it that way. But this sword is a little blunt.
I'm just sitting off the side here with a very big grin.
It's blunt. What do you want me to say?
It's all about the technique, Tyranth.
No. You see, I'm not competitive at these things. I'm fine with this.
You bull crap!
But then Shad has to say things, and then I'm like, all right.
Tyranth, what did you say about
That edge angle is perfectly fine. It's just blunt, so it starts to tear. Again, edge angle, perfectly fine.
What did you say when we were reviewing this one?
Finally, Shad can do horizontal.
I've proven you wrong so many times on that.
Yeah. A sword made for Shad, just so he can do them.
Screw you. And he's not competitive. You know, I think this sword likes me.
Why?
And doesn't like you.
Why?
Because I've got a connection with it. We understand each other. I know how to hold it. It knows how it wants to be held to cut well.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I've got one that's better.
This has been through more.
It has.
This is a veteran.
Yeah.
That is still chugging strong.
Mine's better though.
I value the
See,
veteran.
he knows that because he wants my one.
I value the veteran that has proved itself, the old reliable.
Yeah. It's very windy today, guys, and we've got a lot of ambient sound around, so I have no idea how the audio is. Hopefully it's all good.
I'm very interested to see what the shamshir feels like. Because, like...
Is it sharp? I actually don't know if it's still sharp.
Should be. If I can cut with it and Tyranth can't, he'll say it's blunt. If I can't cut with it and Tyranth can, I'll say it's blunt. But all right, this curve. Whoa! That was actually faster. That was distinctly faster.
That looked faster.
And smoother. Dude. Damn.
All right, well, if you're having that much fun, then...
Oh boy. I got it in. Just the tip.
You're right. That is way faster.
Hang on. Is it also because of its weight? This is like a 0.9 kilo sword.
I think it's not only the length, but the curve.
Yeah.
That is very fast.
That's very fast.
That's wicked fast. Hold on, I'm going to try that again. I'm just trying to simulate normal. I'm out in the day, somebody's attacking. Oh crap! That is so fast.
It's a lighter sword.
It is a lighter sword.
0.9 kilos. That is a super light sword.
But that's fast.
That is
for
very
a draw
fast.
cut. That is insanely fast.
Yeah, like I felt that.
Yeah. And
Damn.
it's nice.
Yeah. I mean, this was a beastly cutter when we reviewed it. Cult of Athena. We also have the affiliate link.
And it held up reasonably well.
Yeah, it was a tough
For
sword.
what we did to
This
it.
was a good sword.
So there are a couple more wild cards we've got here.
Yeah.
We've got the Messer. This one's complicated because we don't actually have like a proper scabbard. This is just a
leather sheath.
A leather sheath. So I'm going to draw it like this.
Yeah, I would not
like
want that
a
cutting
katana,
through. Yeah.
but it has no real structure. So this one, and leather grips a bit more. So it's a bit of a wild card. Shad can go first.
I'm always setting the bar. That lets Tyranth know how much effort he needs to put in.
Yes.
See, he admits it, but it's not competitive.
Well, I wasn't competitive until you annoyed me.
I'm going to try and hold it in the frog to get that draw action out.
Yeah.
That felt good. Not as fast, but that was as good as the katana.
I'm more than happy to chalk that speed down to the leather.
Yeah.
Because it is slower, and it did fall out.
But in terms of the ease of draw, that was katana.
Yeah. I think if this was wood, that's on par with katana.
Easy.
I felt a little bit of friction, but that's because I'm kind of having to hold it while I'm drawing at the same time. But apart from that, that was great. We've still got one more wild card.
Oh, yes. Yes. The Debunking.
This has a fat blade down the bottom.
It's the Philipe something Debunking sword. And Cult of Athena, affiliate link, all the stuff.
I expect this one to be on par with the shamshir.
Actually, I wonder, because look at it. Dude, it grips though. It grips on the tip. That's actually going to be annoying to get. Look, it's like, yeah.
We'll see. Because once you get it moving, I think it might be all right.
If you remember though, this was hard to cut with it because it's got a weird weight distribution.
I can't remember.
All right, let me All right, ready?
Yep.
That was actually fast.
That looked fast.
That was fast, and it felt good. It's short though. Like as a shorter sword, it comes out. Not only is it come out easier because it's short, look at the angle of curve we get when we're drawing this thing because of the profile taper on it. That's crazy. All right, I'll give you that. That looked cool. But
That was fast.
all right.
That was anime fast.
Okay, is this what's better than this or the shamshir?
I like this because the shamshir was so fast that when it gets to the apex of its point, you're like, holy crap,
You
this
gotta
is
stop
moving
it.
so fast. When this gets to the apex of its point, I naturally feel like it's lost enough momentum where I can bring it back for another cut.
Bear in mind, everyone, this was like, what, under $200 sword?
Yeah.
And it's one of our highest reviewed swords. This sword is brilliant. It's really good.
It's nice.
It's nice.
That's just good.
Yeah, that's a wild card.
That's better than a katana.
Oh, it is better than a katana.
Yeah.
And it's fighting for first place with the shamshir.
Okay, hold on. There's one thing I want to try with the shamshir. Don't worry, I don't need a cut. I just want to see. So we bring it out for a cut, and then I want to bring it back. I can katana it. I can put it back in. But see, that's not next to your belt. So you've got to keep it right next to your belt.
In what, in terms of sheathing it?
Yeah. Bring it out. I don't need to look that much.
That much?
I missed. It has a weird locket, all right? It's not a katana.
So I got
Because I do
faster.
like the feature of being able to sheath a katana without looking.
It's negligible.
I'm not saying it's up there and it makes everything better, but I do like that fact.
All right, we genuinely got some very interesting results, and we've got them in basically what I saw as 3 categories of performance.
Sure.
And what we have is the standard, like, katana performance.
That's the start.
This is the baseline. Then swords that were a bit harder and a bit slower to draw sheath cut with, and then swords that were faster and performed better. So starting at the bottom, right, makes sense. Swords that had a longer blade were harder to draw cut with.
Yeah.
You could still do it, still effective, like good cuts, but these two, they were a bit more awkward than the katana to cut.
Yeah, just down to length.
And yeah, look at the length. Like, these are very comparable in length, almost identical. Gee, look at that. Yeah. Right? So, and that means that it's not getting much difference between the curve isn't giving a huge benefit, or if it does give a benefit, the profile of this blade, which enables a steeper angle of, I guess, drawing from the sheath, but gave just as much of an advantage.
Yeah.
All right? So now we get to the ones that were just like a katana. Okay?
Yes. Yeah. I would say that, yeah.
So, bastard sword, same length as a katana. Actually, it looks longer, but the blades are very similar.
Similar.
And angle of deflection, great on it, really good. The standout surprise for me was the Messer.
And I think this would actually perform a bit better if we had a proper scabbard for it. So
the thing is, though, the Messer is longer than this katana in the blade.
It is,
okay?
yeah.
But because it was just as easy to draw, cut, or sheath cut with, that actually makes, in my opinion, the Messer the winner in this category. Because it was just as easy, but it being just as easy with being longer gives it a point extra.
For draw cutting specifically, sheath cutting specifically, sure. But see, this is where I think the caveat is going to come in a minute. And that is versatility. Like we said, a draw cut isn't particularly your first go-to thing. It's a good option to have. I would much prefer to be able to do draw cuts than not. But if we look at something like this, for example, I would go with this over these two. The reason why is I still get a cross guard, so I still have good hand protection and coverage. On top of that, it's a double-ended blade. It has a good length.
You said double-ended?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Double-edged.
Double-edged.
Whatever. It has a good, reasonable length, meaning that I could feasibly fight longer blades, but at the same time, this is a good. It's not a short blade, is what I'm saying. And you can still do draw cuts with it.
Yeah,
you get all of it.
Well, there's like we have tested these swords to death, and that bastard sword is a more comfortable sword to use than the Mesa in terms of in the hand, and is vastly more durable than a katana. Handle construction, and so I get what you're saying. Like that makes probably I would pick this in preference
as an overall package.
Yeah.
Including the draw cuts, I would go with something like this. The reason why over a Mesa is just because it's a single-edged blade.
Yeah, in terms of sheer sheath cut performance, the Mesa won.
I think in this category.
In this category. Now we get to the real winners. Wow. I wasn't expecting this.
I was expecting it with this, because this is a short blade. And this is something that I think is a fair point, because I know people are going to bring it up, like a wakizashi, right?
Yeah.
People are going to go, well, it's a bit shorter than this, but it's a similar type of length-ish.
Oh, hang on. What's the length? No, they're the same length, dude. Look at that.
This one's longer, right?
No, like that is as long as a katana, and it performed so much better in the cut. Now, look, in fairness, this is shorter than them both. Not by much, but
not by much.
Oh, actually, I would say that's a chunk. It's like that much shorter. Okay. It's one-handed. That's one-handed. So no, okay.
This is one-handed. I liked it. It was very quick. It was very nimble.
Yeah.
But there is some detriments with that, in that I did feel like after I'd gotten the cutoff, because I got it so quick, and this is such a light sword, once you get up to the apex, you're like, hold on, I'm still moving really quick. So I think that a little bit more balancing on this, because it's not like that's what it's for. With this, because it's a little bit of a heavier blade, like a katana, right? It means that it has just a little bit more mass on it.
A bit more inertia.
A little bit more balance,
going.
yeah.
But in terms of the balance between these two, right? Shamshir versus Philipe Debunking sword.
That was fantastic.
I was shocked at how good this was.
That was fantastic.
It felt great. I would have to give the edge, though, the winner to the Shamshir, because it's longer. Longer blade, still crazy, fast and good sheath cuts, gives it the win, the edge.
Specifically, if we're talking about sheath cuts, yeah.
Yeah.
But overall...
Same thing with the bastard sword. Overall package.
I'd definitely go with that.
Yeah, I probably would as well. And this is more durable than the Shamshir. We actually broke the Shamshir's handle. This, it held together like a beast.
So let's put it into a different context. What would we pick as our general sword? Just our base sword that we'd carry every day, right? Our EDC carry. Out of all of these, taking into account that we do want the sheath cut as an option. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It's the bastard sword.
Like we said when we were talking about it, it has just the right amount of length that you can compete with some slightly larger swords. It's also a lot longer than these other ones. It does have a strong profile taper, so you're able to do draw cuts, but at the same time you have a crossguard, good hand protection.
It's tough as guts.
Two-handed and one-handed. It's just a great all-rounder.
That's why I think it deserves a higher rating on our board, but the problem is that bloody... if we were to rate this sword, the repaired one, right, it would be an 8 out of 10 territory, easy. This is the Honshu single-handed broadsword. We have an affiliate link, but there's a warning about the pommel. Check out our review of the Honshu Viking swords. We go into detail about that.
The issue I have with this is that, I don't like this weight distribution. You've held my one, and the weight distribution on it is fantastic. This is just too much. It's not needed. You can balance this way better.
Yeah, I am okay with it though.
Yeah, but the reason why
because
I
of
wouldn't
that,
give it a 10,
you wouldn't give it.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Not a 10, but I'm saying 8. Solid 8.
A solid 8 is fine, but to get into the 9-10 territory, it needs to be balanced better.
Yeah, that's fair. That is absolutely
fair. So that was
fair.
a bit of a side.
But
discussion.
seriously, I've loved making this video. This has been fascinating, and I hope we've debunked that the katana is uniquely better in sheath cuts than other swords because of the curve. That's not the case.
But what benefit does the katana have over this? It's almost the exact same thing.
Curve-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a European sword.
Yeah.
It's a European knife.
But that's in regards to that. People have always assumed straight swords don't do that. We've debunked that. Look at the angle here on the draw.
It depends on the type of sword.
On the type of sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Shamshir, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Debunking, bloody wicked.
And we have reviews for all of them. I don't think the Debunking one has gotten enough love. And the Shamshir one. These are brilliant swords.
We did have the handle explode. That's true. But yeah.
Check out the review or reviews right there. And we do have affiliate links for all of these swords. Hope to see you there. Cheers, guys.